This week, we talk about our reaction from all those photos that were released from the upcoming Superman movie. We talk about the breaking news that the Hobgoblin is going to show up in the next installment of the MCU's Spider-Man franchise. And may the Schwartz be with you as we talk about some Spaceballs news. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse. Warning.
Red alert.
Ay, 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 ay!
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger!
That's the emergency alert.
This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse podcast. I'm Billy Taylor.
Yeah, I'm Taylor Oxner.
And this week, we're coming at you guys with the latest and greatest things happening out there in the pop culture universe. But before we get into all that, Taylor, what have you been nerding out about this week, man?
This week I finished all of the Resident Evil movies.
Oh, nice.
They get worse as it goes on. The last one's actually quite horrible, but yeah, it's other than that, it's been pretty fun actually.
Yeah, I think I've only seen the first one, and it hasn't been for many, many years.
The first one's good, the second one's good, and then it just starts to fall off like crazy.
Is it the same actors, or does it get switched
Yeah.
up a little bit? Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, it's the same people almost all the way through.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I haven't really thought about that movie in forever.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I am nerding out about this past weekend being my birthday weekend, and I got to go over to the Kansas City Collecticon, and that was a lot of fun. The big bummer was the night before Chuck Norris sent out a message that he couldn't come. He had a family emergency, and man, that was such a bummer.
Yeah, that sucks.
When I was reading it, it sounded like he was already in Kansas City and everything with his wife and son and had to literally turn right back around and fly back home for whatever reason. I don't know what was going on, except that he said it was a family emergency. So it sounded like it wasn't just some last minute, I don't want to do this thing. So I hope everything's all right with him and his family. But yeah, that kind of sucked.
Yeah, that does suck.
But he made a message that he'll try to make it a point to get back to Kansas City in the future and all that jazz. The worst part was my birthday present from my sister was this vaulted Chuck Norris Funko Pop that I was really excited to get signed. And then he wasn't here, so I'll just have to hang on to it and eventually get that thing signed, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, this event was pretty fun. There was a handful of people there. The ones I was excited about was Ray Park was there, who played Darth Maul in Star Wars Episode 1. He was a really cool dude. He was super friendly. His line wasn't fast because he was just taking time to literally talk to everyone and ask people about themselves. And at one point, a guy that was one or two people ahead of me, his manager made kind of a snarky comment and told him to, all right, man, we can't do this all day. And then he laughed it off, and I don't know. Was he right? Sure. But did it seem kind of rude also? Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a couple of Power Rangers there, the Blue Ranger and the Black Ranger, and some voice actors. One of them, her name was Erica Schroeder. She's the voice of Luffy on One Piece. That was cool. And Brina Palencia, she's a ton of characters, but the one that I think of is she's the little perverted kid on My Hero Academia, Grape Juice.
Oh, yeah.
She's that character.
I love that character.
He's so funny. And she does Chopper on One Piece and a ton of other stuff. It was kind of cool when I was talking to her. She was asking me about myself, and I said I was a teacher and I do a pop culture club, and the kids love anime so much. It's like that's the magic word with a lot of people, because she instantly is like, oh my gosh, grab some autographs and give them to your students on me. And I'm like, oh, cool, thank you. And then she also did a recorded message for the kids, and I can actually throw that in right here.
Hey guys, it's Brina Palencia, voice of Minetta and Chopper and a bunch of other stuff. Shout out to all the kids in the Taylorverse. Bye.
But yeah, that message was super cool. And then I also got to meet Dan Green, who is also a ton of characters. He's Yugi on Yu-Gi-Oh! He's the main character on many different incarnations of that show. And he's been a ton of Pokemon. He was Mewtwo and a few others. He's Knuckles on Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of people either say he can be super friendly or super grumpy. And I have to say that he was extremely friendly with me. And same thing, mentioned, being a teacher, do this club with my kids. And he did a cool shout out for my kids too. And I'll throw that in here too as well.
Hey, this is Dan Green. Happy to be part of the Taylorverse. You have a very cool teacher here, and I'll be seeing you when it's time to school.
Yeah, it was a really fun weekend, and I'm a sucker for a con, so it's always fun to get these Funko Pop signed and meet these guys.
Yeah.
But hey, let's go ahead and jump into the news. It's funny, there's a lot of things happening out there, a couple of which I feel like Taylor and I have talked about for a long time. The first one on my list here is Jacob Batalon, who plays Ned on the MCU's Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man Far From Home, all those. It just came out, and it obviously makes sense, but when we return to Spider-Man in the MCU, at some point he will become the Hobgoblin. And this was an actual release, not just some rumor. So I think that's kind of cool, and it also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. He's gonna have to really get in shape.
Yeah, I don't know if you follow him on social media or anything like that, but he kind of has been for a little over a year now, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's going to be cool. I wonder if there will be at some point a redemption arc where, he remembers Peter and it all gets weird. Or what if him remembering Peter makes him flip or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I'm excited to see how that pans out. We're also getting some information about the Thunderbolts. It sounds like they finally wrapped filming this past week. So that is done being filmed. Now it's in the editing process, and it's going to be here on May 2nd, 2025.
That is so crazy. It's so soon, but so far away.
Right? I feel like it's been a while since we've had a real good Marvel movie, but hey, we're less than a month away from Deadpool, so...
Yeah, I feel like Deadpool's gonna be a return to form, but that's just me.
I 100% agree with you. I cannot wait to see all the things they pull out in that movie.
But yeah, it's getting weirder and weirder.
Oh, I know. And it's funny, speaking of Deadpool, Hugh Jackman was recently asked about, are you going to show up if they do this big mishmashed Avengers Secret War thing? And he said, you know what, I was talking to Kevin Feige, and I told him the only way I'll do it is if I get to work alongside Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. If you got those two in, I'm in. And I was like, oh, cool, yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, that's nuts. As much as I want to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine over and over and over again, I kind of want a new Wolverine.
Yeah, so we can start wrapping our minds around it and seeing the new stuff they pull out for the future of the MCU, I guess.
Yeah.
Speaking of the X-Men, it sounds like the latest rumor they've got going out there right now is that they're in talks with Bryan Cranston to play Professor Xavier. That'd be kind of crazy.
I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I haven't really had time to think about it because I just saw that this morning.
I don't love that, I don't think. But who knows? It could probably be awesome. For some reason in my head, I just don't see it.
And then another thing floating out there for rumors with X-Men, it sounds like there's a roster floating around that's rumored to be the roster in the first movie that they do. And it looks like, if this is true, it would be Cyclops, Jean, Wolverine, Beast, Storm, Rogue, and Gambit. And, I mean, to me that just sounds like someone naming off X-Men.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it would both make sense if they do that, and it would also make sense if they went another route, because at some point there's a lot of X-Men.
It's a weird grouping.
And I wonder, with that particular group, it makes me wonder if what we see would be an established group, or it would make more sense to be an established group, not so much an early on group.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to all go down, but I'm very excited to find out.
Yeah. There was an interview with Joseph Quinn, who's going to be playing the Human Torch, and it sounds like the Fantastic Four is going to begin filming at the end of July, and the movie will be here on July 25th, 2025. So that's going to start filming in the next month.
Okay, so we're going to get Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts in the same year.
Yes. I extremely can't wait for the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
The next thing here on the list, it sounds like someone was talking with Scarlett Johansson, and they were asking her, would you ever return to the MCU? And I know a lot of stuff went down after Black Widow kind of flopped. I don't know, maybe flop's the wrong word, but they had to do the streaming stuff because of COVID, and she kind of had some cross feelings. And someone just asked her recently if she would show up in the Avengers Secret Wars, and her answer was less, hey, if this happens 100%. Her answer was more, I don't really know. She made it sound like I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
But the last thing on my list here with Marvel, there's a thing floating around right now saying that they're currently seeking their first live-action Miles Morales. So we might get Miles on screen before we know it.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, and hopefully, oh man, all the fingers crossed, it's tied to the MCU, because if Sony does it alone, I don't know what to think.
Yeah, I wouldn't enjoy it probably.
Right? Throw in some Morbin time and some Madam Web with it, and everyone's gonna love it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we still haven't even seen that stupid Craven movie, so.
That's true. If they don't hold it back again, that's gonna be here in about 5 months, I think. 5 or 6 months. Well, over with DC, The first thing on the list here is yesterday they kind of photo dumped all kinds of on-set photos from the new Superman movie. Did you have a chance to see some of those?
I did not, but I saw that. I saw the article and I just didn't, press on it. But what
So
were they?
there were several of David in the new Superman suit, and I think it looks great. And I know I'm biased to the character, but it's bright. He's got the trunks. When he turns around, there's the big yellow S on his cape. Other than the stylized version of the S, which actually looks like the Kingdom Come S, it's not out of nowhere. Other than that, it looks very, very traditional, but made out of like modern materials, if that makes sense. And I think he looks great. And it's really crazy how much he resembles Henry Cavill when you see his face up close. It's kind of nuts.
Wow.
But they also, in these photos, showed us Jimmy Olsen for the first time. They showed us Perry White, Lois Lane, Mr. Terrific, all suited up. He looked really cool.
I did see that one.
Yeah, he looked so cool. And then Lex Luthor. They didn't show Lex Luthor in character in his costume and all that, but we saw the actor playing him, Nicholas Hoult, on set. He was kind of wearing a ball cap and looking a little incognito, but he was there too. And seeing all these photos has me super pumped for this movie.
Yeah.
Knowing James Gunn was doing it, I was already pumped, but just seeing it made me extra pumped. The next thing on the DC list here, Pom Klementieff, who played Mantis in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, we know that she's pretty close with James Gunn, and she was just in an article saying that there's already a character in mind for her to play in the DCU, and as I read, it sounds like she might be playing the new DC's version of Huntress, and that's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool.
And I can totally see it, too.
I never was a big Huntress fan,
Yeah.
but it's always neat to see those periphery characters get a little shine.
Yeah. The first time I ever knew of Huntress was from that, that 90s, early 2000s Birds of Prey show.
Oh, really?
And then, of course she was in some of the animated stuff. And then I went back and read a ton of comics that I hadn't read, and it's like, oh, okay. And I like the Earth 2 version more, where she's, Bruce's daughter, Bruce and Catwoman's daughter. And then some of the other versions where she's not Bruce's daughter. But yeah, I wonder how they'll do it in the DCU.
Yeah. Hopefully it's the Selena Kyle Bruce Wayne one. That one to me makes the most sense for that character.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's see, the last thing on the list here. This one's not so much news as it is the actor John Hamm from Mad Men and all kinds of other stuff. He was in an interview recently, and they were asking him about past jobs that he passed on. And one of the things that he says he was offered but passed on was the 2011 Green Lantern movie. He was who they sought after to be Hal Jordan, and he passed, and it became Ryan Reynolds. But can you imagine that movie with John Hamm?
Yeah, I can.
And
It would be a lot more serious of a take, that's for sure.
I agree. It would be way more serious. I'm trying to picture, that would have been, 13, 14 years ago. I could see a younger John Hamm being Hal Jordan. But I still feel like they dropped the ball, never making him Bruce Wayne back in the day. I feel like he could have been a sweet Batman.
Yeah.
Let's see, over with Star Wars. This past week, we got The Acolyte Episode 4. Did you have a chance to watch that?
I did.
I liked it. I have a lot of theories cropping up in my head. One thing that was cool, we saw another character that we've seen before. This time we saw Ki-Adi-Mundi from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And I know there's a lot of, finger quote Star Wars fans in an uproar like, oh, he can't be that old, about a character whose age was never established. But yeah, anyway.
I feel like this whole series has been kind of a punching bag.
It really has been.
I understand like a little bit of it, but the amount of it is just insane to me. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's like we've said before, Star Wars fans, it's just not.
Yeah. Star Wars fans aren't real big Star Wars fans.
No, they really aren't.
It's like, I hate to break it to you, this is Star Wars. This is. There's nothing you can say to change that.
Yeah. I can understand the people who are really big in the extended universe stuff that all got deleted or whatever, but how many years has it been? Over 10 years at this point, probably?
Yeah, if not more, yeah.
I don't understand why we're still griping about it. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Also, the Sith Lord at the end was awesome.
Oh, that was so cool. And the way he creepily came out of nowhere and just kind of snuck up on everyone and then went nuts and used the Force on them. And yeah, there's a lot of theories of who that character might be, and the two that I've seen that makes the most sense, one of them is they think it's that young guy that came with May to the planet. They think he's secretly the Sith Lord the whole time, and others think, everyone thinks it's a man, what if it's one of the witch mothers from earlier on, one of those mothers that village got burned down or whatever. That was kind of a crazy theory. And then another one was, what if the Acolyte is not, May, who we think it is? What if that character is the Acolyte and there's even a worse big bad? And maybe it's someone like Darth Plagueis or something.
Well, I think that would be smart to introduce Darth Plagueis
Yeah.
at some point, just because we've heard about him for so long.
Yeah. And outside of books and comics, we haven't really seen anything other than hearing Palpatine talk about him.
Yeah, I think, yeah. And that's kind of what I thought this was going to be about, Palpatine and Darth Plagueis, but I guess it's not.
Yeah. Someone online was like, what if that Sith Lord is Palpatine? And like, well, Palpatine is a human, and this is 100 years ago, so that wouldn't quite work. But then other people are like, we've seen that he can clone himself. But then other people are like, well, but not until the future when they have that technology. And like a whole bunch goes back and forth, back and forth. I feel like it's going to turn out to be the bumbling friend who acts all bumbling, but he's really not. That's
that's what you're putting your money on?
It's funny because I've been watching it with my wife, and I turned to her and I said, what if he's really the bad guy? What if he's that Sith Lord character? And literally seconds later, it's like, oh, here he is on the same planet. And I don't know. We'll see. It's probably some extremely alternate theory that we haven't even thought of yet.
Yeah. I kind of want it to be a completely different character.
Yeah, that's what I want it to be.
Yeah.
Well, the next thing on the list, this is kind of Star Wars adjacent. It's not exactly Star Wars, but did you see in the next couple years, they're going to be making a sequel to Spaceballs?
Oh, really?
Yeah, a legit sequel, not a remake, not a reboot or any of that, a sequel. And
John Candy is dead, though.
Yeah, well, it's going to be starring Josh Gad.
Okay.
And that's about all I know about it. I wonder if he'll be John Candy's character's son or something.
Oh, or that character himself.
Well, yeah, that's true, too. Just be that character.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spaceballs, man. I haven't really thought about, I wonder if we'll ever see more of that, but hey, here we are.
That movie's so funny, but I never think about it.
Same here. And I haven't watched it in probably 20 years.
Yeah, I don't think it's been that long for me, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, maybe we should check it out in.
Of course, it's always going to be funny.
Yep. Let's see, next on the list, we just had episode 4 of The Boys. How far along are you on that show?
You know what? I'm one behind, but I'm almost there.
Okay.
It's hard finding time by myself where I can watch it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, this is a definite kids gotta be in bed show.
Yeah. So it's been one of those that's kind of gotten elusive, but I am still plugging through it at least.
Yeah, I do have to say, not really spoilers, but Homelander's a little nuts in the 4th one, and I just wonder where they're going to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious the kid's going to not like Homelander, right? Like, that's going to be a thing eventually.
At some point, maybe he's who's going to have to finally take him down or whatever.
Oh, that would be kind of poetic, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
How it wouldn't be Butcher.
Yeah, his own kid.
Yeah, that actually would be really cool.
And we're in season 4. They announced last week that season 5 is going to be the final season. So they're slowly creeping towards a wrap up of this show.
Well, good.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. I hate when shows end, especially when they're good. But on the flip side, I love when they schedule an ending so that they can flesh it out completely how they meant to, and it doesn't get canceled.
Yeah, I would rather it be like that than have a ton of episodes, but then it just ends. Like, I always bring up Alphas, but it was like that show made me so physically upset that the way it ended.
Yeah.
That it's still to this day. It's like Firefly too, and like, oh, there's so many shows that have been so good that people have just been like, nah.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Dollhouse? Do you remember that show?
Yes, that was good too.
And then it gets canceled after the 2nd season, I think.
Yep, 2nd season. And like the way that season opens is so weird because of the fact that it's getting canceled. Like, it's like way in the future and stuff.
Yep.
So they think they knew it was getting canceled, and so I feel like they knew on that one.
Could be. I don't remember. But yeah. Oh yeah. Now that you're a little bit more caught up on The Boys, what'd you think when Will Ferrell showed up?
Oh, I thought that was hysterical.
Oh, I know. I was dying.
The scene that really made me go, oh, was the walking into the sauna room.
Uh-huh.
That literally made me go out loud, oh. And I was like by myself. I was just like blown away by how well the CGI and everything was too.
Yeah.
Like, it was, someone took their time to do that very well.
Yeah.
And that cracks me up.
Yes. I also think it's funny that the octopus that the Deep has a relationship with is voiced by Tilda Swinton, and they get this
I
award-winning
didn't
actress.
know that.
Yeah, it's legitimately her.
That's amazing. Oh my God. She
Yeah.
cracks me up.
Oh, she's amazing.
The stuff, yeah, like she's one of the weirdest actors ever, but like in everything she is, she's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
even like crappy movies she's in. Like, I like Constantine, but I know that's not a good movie.
Yeah.
But even her as Gabriel is unbelievable.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people got, their undies in a bunch that she was the Ancient One in Marvel, but I actually liked her as the Ancient One.
I liked her as the Ancient One as well. I do think it was a misstep, but she acted the crap out of it. So
Yeah.
it was one of those things where I feel like she did the best that she could with what she had given, and I think she killed it.
Yeah, but now next time you watch and the octopus shows up, you'll have to listen for it, because I just think it's hilarious to get this award-winning actress to be the Deep's octopus lover.
Yes. So many people are involved in that show too. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I can't believe this show and all the people, it's just been like how gross and everything it is, but how popular it is cracks me up.
Yep. The next thing on the list here, House of the Dragon had episode 2 this weekend, and last week's episode ended on that crazy ending that, when I say gratuitous death, it wasn't quite Red Wedding level death, but let's just say a child is murdered viciously. And they don't show it, but you can hear it. Yeah. And then this week deals with the aftermath of that, and it wasn't quite as gruesome of an episode, but a lot of plans are starting to unfold, and people are getting blamed for things like that murder of that prince, and the people getting blamed actually weren't behind it, and I don't know. There's so much drama in these shows, and I'm here for it.
Oh, absolutely. Those shows, it's not my thing, because obviously I'm not a fantasy guy. I don't really like the whole knights, dragons, and demons thing.
Yeah.
But everything I've heard has been wonderful.
Yeah, and my wife is not some big nerd like I am, but she loves those kinds of things, so...
Yeah, she's a big fantasy watcher.
Yep. I know there's a big book series right now that all the moms are into lately, the Court of Thorn and Roses, whatever it's called, books. If they made a show or a movie series out of that, I guarantee not only my wife, but like a zillion moms around the country would drop so much money to see those things.
I'm sure it'll happen, just like it happened with, what was the smut movie, the smut books that everyone, 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, those movies did really super well because of the same reason. So,
yeah,
I
haven't seen either one of those movies.
I haven't either, but there's like a weird kind of like a curiosity that I have towards those movies, because the soundtrack came out for those, and the soundtrack's like really good. And it's like one of those things where it's popped up on my Spotify, like songs from it. And like, I'm just like, these are really good. And it kind of makes me interested to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, for fans of the Shrek franchise, I just read that we are getting a Donkey spin-off movie starring Eddie Murphy, and that should be fun.
Yeah. It'll be a minute.
Yeah. It'll be weird if it doesn't include Shrek or Puss in Boots or any of those guys, because I love all those characters, but I will totally be down to see it. I know my kids will be, so I'll kind of have to see it by default, but yeah.
Yeah. That's one of those movies that your kids will like that you probably wouldn't mind so much, right?
Yeah. Any movie like that. Last week, we took the family to see Inside Out 2, and it was super good. I love when they make a good family movie for kids, and it's still not bad for grown-ups, too.
I heard it's kind of short.
It was only an hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's kind of short, but I've heard it's really, really good.
As a parent of children, obviously, knowing what kids have to go through, and being a teacher, I see what kids go through all the time. The main little girl is a teenager now, entering high school, and yeah, it was really good. When you piece together, the things she's doing and going through, and then they zoom into the personality creatures, whatever you want to call them. It's a really humorous, funny way that makes you stop and think about a lot of things that kids go through. And not just kids, but anybody goes through, and what makes you have your beliefs and your feelings, and I don't know. It was really good. Couple of tears may or may not have been shed.
Yeah, gotta love Pixar.
Right?
They know how to make you bawl.
They really do. Let's see. Oh, speaking of, family-friendly movies, the next thing on the list here, if you remember Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, they just started filming a sequel to that with the same stars. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see Lindsay Lohan do something that's not like a bad movie or something,
Yeah. Something not so off the wall.
Yeah.
I remember liking that movie. I think I was in either high school or early college when it came out, and I liked it.
It's funny. Lauren's dad, the one with Dennis Quaid and everything, Lauren's dad likes that movie like a lot. Like if it's on TV, he will watch it.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
That is funny. And let's see, the last thing on the list about the entertainment world here is they are about to start filming a reboot to the Street Fighter movie. Do you remember that movie?
Which one?
In my mind, I'm picturing the 90s one because honestly, that's the only one I'm aware of.
There's like 4.
Oh, okay.
So there's one, the 90s one that's almost like a superhero movie, like a really bad superhero movie.
Yeah.
There's, which everyone knows about that one. Then there's like The Legend of Chun-Li, which stars
that Kristen Stewart from Smallville, right?
Yes.
You know what? I do know that one. My brain forgot about that one until you said it.
And then there's another one that was made that's an origin story of Ken and Ryu.
Oh, okay.
That came out, I don't know, it was like 5, 6, maybe 8 years ago. It might have been a while now, but it's really, really good.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's super long. But it takes place basically before the tournament. So it's like the origins of Ryu and Ken, basically.
Oh, okay. Is it in English?
Yeah, and it's really good.
Oh, why don't I know this one? I might have to check it out.
I have it on DVD, but then there's also the animated ones.
I knew of the animated ones, yeah.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 of those ones.
Okay.
And those are like, there's a series, but then there are also like full-length movies.
Gotcha.
That are canon, which is crazy.
Speaking of fun animated stuff, I've only ever seen up to about halfway through the 2nd season of My Hero Academia, but Oliver was...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oliver really wanted to watch it, and we are almost finished with season 2, which, gosh, there's like 38 episodes in season 2.
Yeah, okay, so I'm doing my rewatch right now,
Uh-huh.
and I'm at the very end of season 2. We just got done with all of the kids, like, training
Yeah.
that they do, and because they just beat that Slash character.
Okay. Yeah, we have
The hero
3
killer.
episodes left of season 2. Yeah, we just got past that part 2,
Yeah.
and I read that the next thing to watch is the movie before you jump into season 3.
Yes.
And that's
The movie is the next thing, technically. I don't think you have to, but it does help.
Yeah, I read that before watching season 3, make sure to watch the movie, and that was kind of our first goal. Okay, we got to get through this because we really want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
But it's been a lot of fun, and then it was, like I said at the beginning, it was kind of cool to nerd out and meet Brina Palencia, who voices the Grape Juice character this weekend,
Yeah.
because I had all that stuff fresh in my mind of how funny that character is. And yeah, what a good show.
I think it's funny that a woman plays that character.
Oh, I know, he's such a little dweeb, little perv.
A little perv. I mean, she must have a ball doing that.
Oh, I know. I've actually followed her on social media for a little while now. I don't even know why, because I wasn't really into the show until recently. And she's a hilarious person, and she's super talented. She sings, but I could see her having that kind of funny humor, like one of the friends you want to come to the get-togethers because they'll make you laugh. Well, hey, that is the news this week. One last thing here, locally, at the end of this weekend, we have Kansas City Crypticon, so for fans of horror, yeah.
Ooh, Crypticon.
Go check that out. It's in North Kansas City. Just go to their website and you can get the address. And there's a lot of cool celebrities on there if you're into horror. There's only a few that I'm aware of because I'm not the biggest horror buff. I don't really watch a ton of horror movies. But the few that I recognized were Dee Wallace. She was the mom on E.T., but she was also the mom on Cujo. The little boy from Cujo is one of the guys that's going to be there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
The dude that played Jason Voorhees in some of the later movies is going to be there.
Oh, okay.
And let's see. Oh, the dude that was the voice of the Ghostface killer on the first 5 Scream movies, he's going to be there.
Oh.
So he wasn't the guy in the suit, but he was the voice. And that's kind of cool.
That's weird that I never knew that was a separate thing.
Yeah, I didn't either. The one that I think is the most cool appearance at this particular event, it's Ross Marquand, he's Aaron on The Walking Dead, but lately he's been in a ton of Marvel stuff. He's the voice of Professor Xavier on X-Men 97.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's, you know how Red Skull is played by Hugo Weaving? Yeah, Red Skull is played by Hugo Weaving in the original Captain America, but everything after, like Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, that's Ross Marquand in the makeup as the Red Skull.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was him in Endgame.
Nope, it's Ross Marquand.
I wonder why. Why would he not want that big check?
I don't know.
He has to act for literally like maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was about to say that's less than a day's worth of filming.
I know.
But yeah, he's also on the Marvel What If series. Ross Marquand is the voice of Red Skull, and he's also the voice of Ultron in this series. So I'm like, okay, I might have to drive over to this creepy con just to get my Infinity Ultron Funko Pop signed.
Oh yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, you have him use a purple pen. I think it'll look awesome.
Oh, it would look awesome.
But yeah, that's coming up this weekend. I know it's compared to many cons, it's way affordable. I think I'm gonna go on Sunday, and I think it's only $20 to get in.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Right on.
Oh, Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother, he's gonna be there.
Oh, that's cool. That would be an awesome autograph to have.
I know.
He's in so much stuff.
I was racking my brains for some kind of Funko character he would be, and I looked through his IMDb, and I don't think I found anything that matched up as a Funko Pop for him. But I think I might have to go take a photo with him or something, because that dude, he's in so many things.
That's what I'm trying to figure. He doesn't have a Funko? Would be very surprising to me.
I know, and I tried to, cross some T's and dot some I's, scanning through the whole IMDb page, and he's been in so many things, but I personally couldn't find something. So, man, I'm gonna have to do a little more homework later.
With all the things he's in, it's just like,
yeah,
that kind of blows my mind that there isn't one. It's like the fact that there's only a handful of Rock ones. Did you know that?
Yeah, the Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Yeah, there's just a couple, right?
Yeah, there's only like 3 or 4. It's nuts until Black Adam came out.
Yeah.
And then there were more.
For Chuck Norris, there's literally only one. That's why it's so hard to get.
Yeah.
Oh, the one final person on the list, and I'm leaving like a ton off because I don't really know much about him, but Mindy Sterling, she was the woman that played Frau Farbissina on Austin Powers.
Oh, awesome.
And she's also on Avatar Legend of Korra. She's Toph Beifong's daughter, Lin Beifong, who's the chief of police. She's her voice. But
okay,
they don't have
I haven't gotten there yet, but
but they don't have a Lin Beifong Funko Pop, and that's a bummer.
That is a bummer.
And they do have Austin Powers Funko Pops, but only Austin Powers and Dr. Evil, I think.
Really?
When I was looking for some, that's all I saw.
Huh.
Yeah.
I could have sworn there was like a gold member one, but I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, local folks, if you like the creepy and the scary and the horror things, Crypticon is this weekend. It's in a hotel in their big ballroom somewhere in North Kansas City. But yeah, look up their website. It's all on there. And yeah, $20, that's not too bad to get into something like that.
Yeah, not at all.
But hey, that's all for this week. So as for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billy Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Oxner.
And come back next week, guys. Same Taylor time, same Taylor channel.
Bye.
Bye.